Hey soul family, this is your soul sister Zeta with Newbie Roots, and tonight I am back with another soul talk. So as you can see from the title, tonight's topic is about why I am no longer Christian. I know a lot of people are going through this transition and not really knowing who to talk to when it comes to family, friends, or even strangers. It's kind of one of those taboo topics where it's like, you're accepted if the other person isn't Christian, but you don't know how far you can go if the person is Christian because you don't want to cross any boundaries. And so tonight, I just wanted to talk about the reasons why I'm no longer Christian and why I am so grounded in who I am. Right? At the end of the day, we all want to be grounded in our soul, grounded in our spirit, and you have to listen to yourself. So tonight is kind of like a quick little story time slash, just a little soul talk, just have a little soul talk. And if you, are down with this, if you agree with this, if you know what I'm talking about, then please thumbs up this video, subscribe, because, we're in the same tribe. So anyway, I was off and on Christian for probably close to a lot of my life, like since I was a kid. Crazy enough, my parents weren't really hardcore Christians. We didn't really go to church like that, but I mostly went to church with my grandparents and with cousins. And so, I knew who Jesus was and I knew what it meant to go to church. I never was one of those that really, really paid attention to what was being taught until I got older. So long story short, I'm just going to speed this up. I've been on my spiritual journey, on my spiritual walk with the God within since I was 24, and I am 32 now. So it's been a minute. But somewhere in my mid-20s, I got involved with this guy because, see, when I first started my spiritual walk, I won't say I was into Buddhism. What I respect about Buddhism, it is not a religion. Like, it is just a practice for you to go within. Like, Buddha was more so like a mentor. He was not someone that wanted to be worshipped. He was nothingness. He was limitless, infinity, and that's what he knew about himself. And so that's what I respect about the teachers of Buddhism, and that allowed me to grow and understand myself as a spirit being. But when I met my ex-boyfriend, which thank God he's gone, I met him, I want to say I was like 26, and he was like a hardcore Christian. Funny enough, he was a hardcore Christian, but didn't follow a bleep thing in the Bible, which is crazy. See, we're not even going to go there. But yeah, Christians can sometimes act like they on a high horse, like they're holier than thou, and be doing so much toxic dirt underneath your feet. So yeah, that's another story. But anyway, I got with him, and at this time, I was like in a real religious practice where I was meditating like hardcore day and night. Like, meditation was my go-to place. Like, it was just so magical and so deep that I had literally become one with my spirit. I cannot describe the feeling, but all I can say is it felt like my spirit was driving my body. I felt it. It was like presently I was there, like physically, but my spirit just took over my body for at least 3 years. It was an epic experience. Meditation is very, very powerful. And so I am a strong advocate for meditation because it allows you to align yourself with your spirit and become one with the God nature, with that Christ-like nature that is within you. So anyway, I used to meditate a lot, and me and my then boyfriend would get into crazy arguments about that. He would call me the devil. He would tell me that I was crazy. I don't know how we made it in a relationship, but we did. Somehow he like kind of made me feel guilty, made me feel bad that I wasn't going to church, that I wasn't, some Christian woman that was following the word of Christ. And he would read these scriptures to me, like literally we'd be up arguing till like 3 a.m. And he'd be like, no, you need to follow Christ. You're sinning and this and that. And somewhere along the line, I was like, wait, I started to doubt myself. I started to question like, okay, wait a minute. Am I, doing something that's not right? Should I be reading the Bible? And then I ended up getting back into the Bible and, going to church and, righting my wrongs. And I ended up getting baptized. I actually got baptized twice. And I just felt so good about my walk with Christ. I'm like, oh, I'm on the right side. I'm on the right side. But one day, now this happened over a course of times, but there were a few times that I would go to church and I feel clapped out and uplifted, but I didn't feel like I got any real tangible advice on how to live my life, on how to, trust myself, trust my intuition, my spirit. It just felt like everything was based on hope. And then you just come back, you leave Sunday, you go about your daily life during the week, and then you come back on Sunday, give your tithes, praise the Lord again, and then you're back on your own. And there's no real like soul food, like that real soul food where you're like, okay, this I can apply to my life. This I can do today, right now, other than following the walk of someone else. It just wasn't adding up. It just wasn't adding up. And so I'll say about 3 years ago, I was driving. I had just left church. I gave my last $10 in church. And I was like, I felt really good about it. But when I left, it was pouring raining outside, like really pouring raining. And I saw these guys struggling on the side of the freeway at the entrance. And I'm like, oh my God. And they're like, ma'am, they flagged me down. They're like, ma'am, can you help us with anything? We're trying to get a tow truck. We're stuck, this and that. All we need is about $20. We've been able to come up with most of the money, and all we need is $20. And at that moment, I was like, oh my God. I could have used that $10 to help these people who are struggling on the side of the freeway, and it was cold. But I had gave my last money in church to a pastor. And I mean, let me tell you, this church was like impeccable, like big, huge cathedral style church, like had hundreds and hundreds of members. They weren't hurting for money, weren't hurting for anything, but they passed that bowl around, because you got to pay tithes, you got to pay your offerings. But yet and still, when I'm out and about in the real world, there's real people that need real help. And I had just spent my last money. And that really touched me. It kind of hurt me, because I'm like, here I am spending money in church when I could be helping real people. Because most of the people that go to church, I'm not going to say all, because everybody has their own tax brackets, but most of the people in church are hoping for, some type of huge blessing, whether it's monetary, physically, emotionally. They're hoping for something. There may be someone who is sick with cancer, and it's like they're praying and praying and praying, and they've been praying for years. And I tell you, at this church, several people died. Like, there were no real miracles being done. So I'm like, something is not right. So when I went home, I talked to my now boyfriend. We're actually very, very spiritually connected. And that's a whole other story for a whole nother soul talk. But he told me the truth. And he said it just flat out. He said, the reason you feel empty is because Jesus is not real. And when he said those words, my soul didn't get the inkling of offensiveness. It was like those words resonated so deep within my soul. And I cried because I knew it was true. And I was like, wow. After all these years, after being beat back into this religion, I've wasted so much time being fooled and bamboozled. And I mean, that was a hardcore feeling. I just couldn't believe it. And so I started to do my research. I'm like, oh my God, like, what is the truth? Like, where do we go from here? What do I do? And now I'm going to save this so you can do your own research. And I may even plug in some helpful links, so that you can discover this or on your own. You may even know about it already, but it is such a sad feeling. So it took me about a year to get over it. Like, I did tons and tons and tons of research, only to find out that the Bible was written in a real organization, that Jesus he was a man, but he was not who we think he is. And so I'm just going to cut it right there. That is my reason why I am no longer Christian. I know who I am. I knew who I was when I came here, but we forget when we come into this system, when we come into the matrix, we tend to forget, the ether where we come from, those elements where we come from that exist within. But let me tell you, it is so liberating when you finally figure out where you come from, where you been, and where you going. So I say all this to say, know your soul power. Know where you come from. It doesn't matter whether you're white, black, Asian, or whatever. Yes, I come from Nubian roots, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for our divine power, our divine eternity. And we know that these bodies that we came here in are just vehicles. So we have to take care of them. We got to make sure, our black don't crack. We got to make sure our bodies don't crack. How about that? I'll say that. But I say all this to you so that, be one with yourself, be one with your power, your soul power, because that is who you are. And you don't have to worry about some Jesus that's supposed to be coming to save you. You need to save yourself. How many times have you heard that? You need to save yourself. Even in Kemetic history, they've been saying this since the beginning of days. Know thyself. That is an ancient principle that ain't going nowhere, and it hasn't gone nowhere. So you really and truly want to know yourself. So that was my little rant, my little soul talk for tonight. And I wish you guys the best on your spiritual journey. Make sure you thumbs up this video if you liked it. And be sure to join the Soul Talks. Hit that subscribe button so we can have these talks, have this conversation, because we're going to be doing this on certain nights. It's easier for me when my son is asleep in the bed. So, the house is quiet and chill, and we can have this soul relation. So with that being said, I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Good night.